Hey guys, how's it going? Playing this ROM hack called Hero of Law. Oh, ow. It's supposed to be like Phoenix Wright meets Ocarina of Time. It's from the newer team. They made a newer Super Mario Bros. Wii and DS and all of that. Do you think they forgot? Forget a royal visitation. No one can make such a blunder, princess. Well, I guess I should just go in then. So that dude got killed and they're framing her. They knocked her out and framed her. You think that after so many years of doing this, I'd be used to this stress. So why am I shaking? Yeah, guess it's a lot worse when it's your friend's life that's on the line. Come on, gotta look professional. She can't see you like this. Speaking of her, though, where is she anyway? Hey, you over there. Huh, dude. What is it, attorney? The trial isn't starting yet. But it will be soon, right? Would you happen to know why my client isn't here yet? I didn't get to speak much with her when she was arrested, so I was hoping I could at least exchange a word with her now. Well, you weren't the only one with the idea. I believe she is currently in the prosecutor's lobby. He wanted to talk to her as well. What? What is up with this guy? He bars me from the crime scene, blocks my detention center visits, and now this? Not to worry, she will definitely be here before the trial. Great. That'll be a joyous 5 minutes indeed. But there's nothing I can do but wait. Sometime later. Okay, this is ridiculous. How much longer can he keep her? Ah, see? There she is. No need to get all worked up. Something wrong? Did I hear shouting? So much for looking professional. No, don't worry. Everything's fine. This is Milan. Ever since we met in Hyrule Castle Town all those years ago, we've been great friends. Her heart's in the right place. I know she cared deeply about her father. Everything's fine. Why do you look so worried? Well, how did the investigation go? Did you find anything? Yes. The investigation. I found tons of groundbreaking stuff. Particularly, that's my opponent's real scumbag. What did the prosecutor want from you anyway? Well, it was mostly just threats. He kept explaining in detail what happened to me if I'm found guilty. Doesn't sound like a vital discussion that needed to happen right before the trial. He probably just did that so we wouldn't have as much time to talk. You believe me, right? I didn't do it. I'd never. Of course I believe you. Of course I believe you. Although, I'll be honest, things aren't looking very good right now. What's that you've got there? Oh, this? Just a pictograph of my father I carry around. I just can't believe he's gone. I wish I knew how to cheer her up right now. I'm not very good at handling emotional clients. Hey, you know, that pictograph could be really useful for the trial. Huh? How so? Well, you look happy together. I could present it to show that you two had a great relationship. Really think so? Well, here you go then. At least I'll be walking in there with something other than my badge. But wait, we shouldn't just be idly chatting. Anyway, there's not much time left. I know it's hard to talk about, but could you tell me what actually happened? I don't stand much chance if I don't know your version of the story. The trial is starting. Defendant attorney, please enter the courtroom at once. Uh-oh. Shouldn't have said that stuff about having no chance. Alright, everything will be fine. The prosecutor has been playing me for a fool since this began, but sooner or later, his arrogance will be his undoing. Let's head inside. My name is Link. I've been a defense attorney for the last 7 years. I've won my fair share of cases, and lost some, too. But this one is personal. There's so much at stake here. Not only do I have to save Milan's life, I gotta find out who did this to Talon. Talon. He was always so kind. He didn't deserve this. I need to do him justice. I can't lose this. Court is now in session for the trial of Milan of Lon Ranch. The defense is ready, Your Honor. I sincerely doubt that. What were they thinking? Pitting me against some pathetic kid? Pathetic kid? Still your tongue. You bring shame upon the fine color of your hair, vile woman. Before long, the world shall know the horrible deed you've committed. Let us not prolong the inevitable. Shall we begin? Now, this court is no place to be exchanging insults. Since the prosecution seems ready as well, let's hear their opening statement. The opening statement shall also be the closing one. The girl did it, it's obvious. She killed her own father in cold blood. Also, she could have the ranch to herself. Couldn't wait for the old fool to die naturally, could you, you greedy little rat? Objection! Your Honor, you can't allow this man to verbally abuse the defendant like this. Objection! Ha! She committed murder, kid. She deserves every bit of scorn she gets. I do believe a little less commentary would go amiss. I assure you, old man, you will change your opinion once you see all the damning evidence. Who is this guy? How can he speak to the judge like that? Ganondorf Dragmire. Looks like I've been lucky to avoid meeting this man until now. The stories I've heard about him must be true. A boorish barbarian of a man hailing from the Gerudo province. Apparently, he prides himself on the nearly clean streak he's cultivated for decades, all while disrespecting everyone in the court, including the judge. I've even heard some attorneys refer to him as the King of Evil. Definitely has that look at the very least. Who wears full armor to court? Very well. Please present your case to the court. You don't seem to like me talking, so I'll just let the detective present the basics. Bring Empire of the Sheikah Force to the stand. Well, Here we go, the first battle. I know Impa. She's quite a competent detective, which worries me. Please let her have made a mistake just this once. Alright, state your name and whatever it is you pretend to do. You never change, do you, prosecutor? Any possible change would be for the worse. Now stop wasting time. Name and occupation. Oh man. Very well. I am Impa, head detective of the Sheikah Force, Homicide Division. True for now, at least. Well, what are you waiting for? Start talking! You were the one assigned to this case, so you know all about it. What calamity has befallen our fair kingdom? Still can't be bothered to give a proper opening statement. I suppose I can do the prosecutor's job for him this time, for the sake of an unbiased look. Please go ahead, detective. The incident happened early yesterday morning at Lon Lon Ranch, a local supplier of goods located just south of Castle Town. The current owner of the homestead, Talon, was found dead in his ranch house. A tragic loss for our kingdom for sure. I have seen the man around Castletown a number of times, delivering goods. Quite. The owner was a rather important figure in the local community. In any case, we were alerted to the scene of the murder by the Royal Guard, who were there on official business. Official business? What kind? As I understand, the ranch provides the kingdom with vital services. To ensure it's operating as it should, and as a gesture of appreciation, the Crown orders a visitation to the ranch every year. I see. A scheduled annual visit. Continue, detective. When the Sheikah Force arrived, they found the victim bleeding out onto the floor. Next to him lay his daughter Milan, breathing but unresponsive. After a thorough investigation, we arrested her as she was deemed the only possible culprit. That about covers the gist of what happened. Very nice, it's succinct. Keep that up and perhaps you'll keep your job. Oh, I don't think the good detective here has to worry about much that, given she is the head of the department. Which reminds me, why is the head of detectives herself on a case like this? Were the other detectives unavailable? That would be because I have been assigned to this case by the order of the King of Hyrule himself. The King himself assigned you? That doesn't happen very often, does it? You are correct, Your Honor. I'm not usually involved in field work like this. This time, however, the King felt it necessary because of who is involved. Who is involved? Is the death of a ranch worker really such a concern for the King? Well, as I said, Lon Lon Ranch is a very important supplier of goods, to be sure. But that's not who I meant. I imagine the King wanted the top investigators on this job because it was the royal princess herself who discovered the crime scene. Order! I will have order! The royal princess, Zelda, witnessed the crime. Ah, and there you have it. This case rides on the princess's own words. To doubt it would be to doubt your own royalty. This is bad. You can't really object to that. Very well. If the princess is testifying today, it better we don't make her needlessly wait. Detective, please testify about exactly why the defendant was arrested. It is with regret that I agree the Dragmire, all the evidence points towards this girl being the culprit. We determined that the murder definitely took place inside of the ranch house. There were only 3 people on the ranch: the victim, the defendant, and a worker who has an alibi for the time of the crime. The defendant was found unconscious right in front of the victim, who was bleeding out onto the floor. Furthermore, she was holding a weapon. Without a doubt, that's what was used to kill the victim. She seemed like such a bright girl. It's most unfortunate. Your Honor, I'd like to submit these pieces of evidence to the court. First, I have an autopsy report performed by the Crown's top coroner. Here's what we determined to be the murder weapon which we took from the defendant's hands. To make sure we had the correct weapon, we conducted a very thorough investigation. Naturally, we searched everyone and thoroughly examined the ranch and its vicinity. Nothing unusual was found, but to be safe, we also checked the ranch's inventory list to see whether anything was missing. The list matches the items we found on the ranch exactly, and nothing but the saw had fresh blood on it. That does sound quite compelling. This must be a truly terrifying scene. Dying from a wound made by a weapon like this is extremely painful. This only helps prove the defendant's viciousness. At this rate, they're going to paint Milan as some heartless monster. There's one more thing I feel I should mention, for the sake of completeness. Shortly after we arrived at the ranch, courier showed up to take some milk shipments. Of course, business must go on. Is this really necessary to enter into evidence, though? The shipments did end up leaving the ranch, so I feel it bears mentioning. Were the contents checked before you let them go? Naturally, who do you take us for? Even though the worker handling the shipments did get quite worked up about it, we cracked all the boxes open to check what was inside. In the end, it did turn out to only be milk bottles, so we let them through. Very well. Thank you for your thoroughness, Detective. So, what happens now? Well, this is where I step in and perform a cross-examination. Ah, great. How does that work? Huh? Could you explain what you're going to be doing? Can't hurt to go over this again. Sure, why not? Witnesses will repeat their testimony. I'll be able to scroll back and forth their individual statements. They'll just repeat it as many times as you want? That's right. I have to consider every little detail. Can't miss a thing. If I want more info about something, I can use to press a statement and ask a witness questions. Grill them for info. Yep. Since the witness has to come up with an answer on the spot, if they're lying, prompting for more info can make them slip up. More importantly, though, if I find something that doesn't line up with the evidence, I can press to bring up the court record. The court record is basically a list of all the evidence, right? Yes, I can open it at any time if I need to recheck the facts. After choosing the contradicting item, I'll press to raise an objection, and present my doubts to the court. Oh, and I can not only present evidence, but profiles as well. Profiles? The court record contains a list of all the people involved, too. I can switch between evidence and profiles. If I need to review what's been said recently, I can also press to see a history of messages. Ah, I see, that makes sense. Is the defense done whispering? Sorry. If he's so upset about it, why doesn't he press to skip ahead? The defense is ready to cross-examine the witness. Ah! A waste of time. I sincerely hope you're not implying that standard court procedure is a waste of time, Mr. Jugmeyer. In any case, we're ready. Defense, please begin with the cross-examination. Okay. It is with regret that I agree with Drogmeyer. All evidence points towards the capture. Hey, hold it! What makes you think she's the culprit? Objection! She's just about to tell you. Keep quiet and listen. Right. Sorry. Indeed, as I was saying, we determined that the murder definitely took place inside of the ranch house. Hold it! And just how did you do that? It's quite simple. There was no blood found anywhere else. Had the victim been attacked at some other location, we'd expect a trail of it leading to the scene. Couldn't the killer have just cleaned it all up? Certainly not. The path to the ranch house at Lon Lon Ranch is not paved in any way. Clean blood off the ground would require disturbing the soil. Naturally, we found nothing of the sort. Bah! There wouldn't have been enough time to pull that off anyway. Likely true. Right. It sounds the location of the crime scene is pretty firm, but I'm not giving up yet. Three people, you say? Objection. Let me stop you before you start getting too excited. If you had listened to the rest of what the detective said, you'd notice she mentioned an alibi. Indeed, we're pretty certain that the ranch worker couldn't have been involved. Well, what is the alibi then? You might remember that I brought up some outgoing milk shipments. Well, the worker Ingo was in charge of them. He left the ranch house first thing in the morning and was busy preparing the shipment after that. Is that so? Surely he couldn't have gotten away from that for one really quick little murder. Ah! This wouldn't just be a quick little murder, as you crudely put it. He'd have to take in steps to hide his involvement, too. There was definitely not enough time for that. Unfortunately, I agree. Preparing a shipment is a lot of work. You have to milk all the cows, clean all the bottles, pour the milk out into them, arrange them all in the crates, and finally load it all up onto a wagon. Usually I had to do it together with Father to finish before the courier arrived. The shipments were already ready when we arrived at the ranch. When we checked the boxes, they were all fully loaded with milk. So this Ingo was able to do work of two people all on his own? Isn't that a bit odd? Yeah, odd or not, he evidently did just that. Clearly, he's a man dedicated to his job. Or perhaps the girl and her father are just very insufficient. Inefficient. This whole thing seems awfully suspicious if you ask me, but I guess I have nothing to dispute it with. Milan fainted? Correct. We couldn't get her to wake for a long time. Eventually we decided to administer a healing fairy so she could be questioned. I guess finding the body was just that much of a shock, huh? Nah. Probably just pretending, trying to make it look like she had merely found the body. In any event... And how can you be so sure of this? Look at the autopsy report. Deep, irregular wound made with sharp metal object. The saw was the only sharp implement in Ranch House that could produce such a wound. And as I've already mentioned, we also looked closely at all the other sharp things on the ranch. None had recent blood on them. That still doesn't necessarily mean the saw was the murder weapon. Maybe the real culprit hid the real one. Oh yeah? Prove it then. Show us the real murder weapon. Well, I definitely don't have any way to do that. Still, something bothers me about that saw. So you have nothing? What a waste of time. She sure is. We've known each other for years. Yet she murdered her father in cold blood. How curious. Perhaps you've just bad judges of character, both of you. No way. Just give me some time and I'm going to prove it. Do you see anything wrong yet? Well, usually it's difficult to find anything wrong with basic facts of the case. That said, I do think I saw one small thing. It's the murder weapon. Really? That's great. It sure is, because I got to poke all the holes I could find before the princess gets here. It's a freaking murder weapon. Clean of blood. How can... Oh, I'm trying to, like, figure this out here, because I'm supposed to... No. What button am I supposed to press here? Give me one sec, guys. Trying to figure this out here, because these control schemes on the simulator. I gotta look at the C buttons. Oh, those are the C buttons. Okay, hold up. Okay, we'll just do that then, I guess. Alright. Supposed to be able to press home, but it ain't letting me. What the heck? Oh. Because the freaking thing got deleted. Hold on. Alright. Present. Seems like a fairly large oversight. I just want to make sure of something. The state the saw is currently in is how you found it at the crime scene. That's correct. That's strange. Considering how much the victim bled out and how deep his wound was, why is there no blood on the supposed murder weapon? Ah! Is that all you have? Huh? Naturally, the prosecution has an explanation for why the saw is clean. Behold! This cloth was found in the defendant's other hand. As you can plainly see, it's stained with blood. The defendant simply wiped the murder weapon in a futile attempt to hide her involvement. If Milan was trying to hide her involvement, why didn't she just leave the crime scene? Bah! Obviously, she was trying to hide the body before the royal visitation arrived at the ranch. Unfortunately for her, it just so happened that the delegation arrived quite a bit earlier than scheduled. In a panic, she quickly wiped the saw off and pretended to faint to make it look like she just stumbled upon the scene. Young lady, things are not looking very good for you right now. The court accepts the bloody cloth into evidence. So, what's the story with this cloth? Well, as I was doing a funnel check around the ranch, I noticed that part of the fence around the horse paddock was damaged. Not entirely sure when that happened, but sometimes one of the horses just get a bit too rowdy, you know? Right. Anyway, I didn't want to bother Mr. Ingo about it, so I tried to cut up a new rail by myself to patch it up. But then the saw slipped and I cut my hand open. Oh goodness, are you okay? Well, it wasn't that bad. It did bleed quite a lot though, so I used that cloth to quickly bandage the wound. I was actually going into the ranch house to ask Father to help me with the fence. Ha! A likely story. And impossible to verify now, of course. The Sheikah force had to use a ferry on the defendant to get her out of her supposed unconsciousness. I do have to give her some credit. She is one cunning woman. She knew that would explain a sudden lack of any wound on her hand. Oh yes, fairies are wonderful. Just the other day I slammed my head into the gavel and one took the pain off immediately. Great. Glad to know they're used for such important things. But, dang it. Too bad there's no way to tell whose blood is on the cloth. I do believe this matter has been settled. I'm ready to call my next witness. Uh-oh. Is this all I can get out of her? You've served your purpose, Sheikah. Be gone. Fine. But you had best treat Her Highness with respect, or I'll see to it that you spend the night in the dungeons. Do not presume to threaten me, Sheikah. A night of darkness and solitude would be nothing but comfort for me. Is that so? Then perhaps we should fill the dungeons with lit candles for the occasion. They're glaring daggers at each other. If this doesn't end soon, we're all in trouble. Order! Order! I am sure we'll treat the princess with the utmost respect. You may step down, detective. This case has already made me weary with all the pointless jabber. This time is right to deal with the final blow. I'll call Her Highness Princess Zelda of Hyrule to the stand. Oops. Okay, I did a save state because I didn't know how to, I don't know how to save this game. But I'm going to end the video off here, and I hope you all enjoyed this video before it gets any too longer. Sorry about the mishap with the controls there. I was trying to fix them. I didn't know what buttons I had to use for the C buttons, but I figured it out. But anyways, if you all are enjoying this and you want me to continue this, please let me know down in the comments below, because this is fun. I'm a big fan of Phoenix Wright. Played through the first 2 games so far, like as of a while ago. So I figured this would be fun to mess around with, and I love it. I'm enjoying it. Hope you are too. Please like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Later.